Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Beginner Builds with Frank DeLuca, your lovely channel owner
Ah, yes,
and
as always.
illustrious leader, and myself, Jeff Sosa, just a humble player of this game.
Still,
And in this in this video, we are covering Red Ruthless Mastery. So, with any other beginner builds, we're just going to go over a mastery, some core cards that we think you should consider putting into a deck with this build, as well as some characters that you can play with the mastery and the cards, and some synergies between them. So, with Red Ruthless Mastery, when entering combat, you can banish the top card of your discard pile, and if you do, then your styled attacks, and if it was a styled card, deal +2 stages of damage and gain hit, lower your opponent's anger. So this mastery is very much about just going ham and really just beating your opponent to death. +2 stages and just attack, 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 attack. The other power is that you can reveal a styled card from your hand, put it at the bottom of the deck, and if you do, you can play the top attack of your discard pile if an attack is there. So, tuck a card away from hand, use a card that's in the discard on the top of the discard pile.
so kind of on that note, we've built together this core list of cards. I'll start off with the blocks here. We have 3 red flea and 3 red brace. Pretty standard red. Almost every red deck's going to choose these cards. There's really not much reason not to. Brace is really nice and ruthless for the fact that after you use it, it rejuvenates itself, and so you don't clog up your discard pile with blocks. On that note, Rare Disregard's really good with Ruthless Mastery as a physical block for the fact that you can banish a bunch of cards out of your discard pile with its immediate effect to set up your Mastery use for maybe the next turn. And then, of course, the Red Blocking Hand is a great anger card. We are red, and we do want to level.
So going into the attacks, as just barely mentioned, we want to level. We want a character that's going to level, add more stage damage, so you're punching harder and you're just doing more. And so with our attacks, to help you with that leveling condition, we want to run Red Gambit. Yeah, you're not going to win by MPPV with the particular builds that we're going over today for this mastery, but that's kind of the point. Get to your higher levels, deal more damage. Red Gambit, perfect card to do that. You can deal stages or life, but the raise 3 anger, really good. Red Double Strike, same thing, double attack, and it's really good with the mastery as well, where if it happens to come off because of damage, then you can use it, get the card back, or if you've delayed enough actions where your opponent can't do anything, you can play Red Double Strike last, get 2 attacks in, use the mastery, get 2 more attacks in, 4 anger on 1 card. Red Collision's another good one, where if it's banished from the discard pile, you can gain some anger, so that when entering combat from the mastery is a quick little anger gain. As well as you can just play it as an attack to search discard pile and place it on top to then use with the mastery as well. Red Sleeper Hold's another way you can activate the mastery, searching the deck, raising your anger, getting a card onto the discard pile. This card banishes itself, so then that card is still on the top of the discard pile. Red Precision Strike is also good, partly because it's focused and raise anger, but a little bit of rejuve if you're desperate, so kind of a last minute card that you can play, but also to banish your opponent's discard pile. Beefy 5 stages, plus the mastery is 7 stages. Red Heel Kick's a fun card that you can use to recur some other cards from the discard pile, maybe placing it on top and then using mastery again. So as you can tell, the theme of this deck really is just reusing attacks and just going more and more and more into your damage. So Red Heel Kick can even be used to grab a double strike that's buried more at the bottom of the discard pile. Use the double strike. You've already chained 3 actions. Hopefully your opponent can't interact with your other cards after that. Then mastery, keep a styled card in hand to then do double strike again. Alder Your Grave, important to any damage deck. Makes your damage unpreventable, and then if it hits, you also have the option to advance or lower, or advance yourself and your opponent if you want, if you feel like you need to bounce them onto a different level that's not optimal. Red Aerial Assault, another way to make your damage unpreventable, and if The next time you would reveal a card from hand, which is essentially the next time you use the mastery, gain some more anger. Then Red Mule Kick, just a good way in red to get rid of attach cards. Obviously, you don't want to get hit with Wall Breaker, the attach card that makes it so you can't gain anger. Or if you want to get rid of your opponent's attach cards, it's good, just there, has endurance. And then Red Energy Blast, again, a way to get rid of board. This deck itself doesn't run a ton of board because you just want to attack, attack, attack. So Red Energy Blast is a good way to get rid of your opponent's allies and their drills, so your attacks are getting through and hitting harder.
So yeah, on that note, we kind of different than our Red Ascension build. There's a lot of attacks we included for the core because again, Ruthless is just such an aggressive mastery in general, especially with physical attacks is where you're getting your modifier. A lot of leveling. Generally speaking, we decided that a Gambit Unleashed build was best. Unleashed and Gambit work really great in tandem together, giving you either a lot of anger, Unleashed giving you levels. And so most of the cards that are in the events in this section here are actually a mixture of events and attached cards that support Unleashed. We have Red Inferno, of course, as an attached target. This is a card that allows you to use critical damage effects when you use your mastery, which is really nice for some extra board clear. Tree of Might is a great stage modifier on top of the mastery. All of a sudden you're doing +4 and everything. Really, really good. We have Red Charge Bills for kind of a similar reason. This is potentially maybe a better slot for you, especially if you may have a alien trait on your main personality that you choose. But this is also a card that can be attached to your MP to get stage damage. We have Red Observation. This is just board clear. You are an aggressive deck, and while you might not like setting yourself to 0 with this power, to be able to wipe out all of your opponent's board cards with a single card is very powerful. And the mastery modifier and the amount of anger in the deck will ideally either help you level or make up for the fact that you're at 0. Finally, we have Villainous Energy Sphere. Protects your Unleasheds from and making sure that they're played, and Sphere is just a really nice option into a lot of defensive decks and tech cards in the meta.
We should also mention that with Unleashed, it's a card that you search your life deck for an attach card, so you have to run these other cards with it, and then you can advance up 1 level. Older versions of Unleashed let you advance multiple levels with how many attach, but in the current state of the game, you can only go up or down 1 level. And then if you really feel like you need to, if your opponent can't win by MPBV, just like you, then you can de-level them by getting rid of the attach cards. And so Tree and Charge Balls are really good to just, they can attach and then you can get rid of them if you need to de-level. Going over to some suggested cards that we would recommend for a build like this. Even though your attacks on hit, if you've used the mastery when entering, gain lower anger, you can tell we don't have a lot of ways to crit unless you deal a lot of damage. So Red Shoulder Grab's a good addition, where for the remainder of combat, any attack that hits will also crit. You get more anti-anger or ways to get rid of allies and Dragon Balls. Red Power Lift is also good because if you're doing if you go up against a similar deck that's dealing physical attacks, it's an attack and a block in the same card. So you can even use this card, block their attack, play it from the discard pile, block another attack. So even though you're not gaining anger, you are having more advantage through 1 card than using 2 cards.
Moving on to our next column here, we really just clumped up 3 different of more of the staple physical attacks that are board hate cards. You can really pick and choose and splash any number of these. We generally recommend that you pick at least one of these cards to try out in your deck. Red Uppercut, of course, is a focused attack, able to kill a setup drill or ally on hit. Forceful Strike has a really nice interaction with your Ruthless Mastery, to where if you've played it from your discard pile, you get to immediately destroy a setup or drill. And then Celestial Strike is just another type of board kill as well that has immediate raise anger, all of which are something that you mostly would want to test yourself and pick for the right occasion.
In the next column, we have some ways in which you can help set up your discard pile. So again, even with this, if it with Stylus Entrance, if it's banished from the discard pile to activate the mastery, you get an extra draw. And then when you use it during combat, you can kind of set up and choose what cards are at the top. as well as prevent some allies with their infinite powers. Red Evasive Maneuver, again, a physical block that you can sub in. Maybe you throw in one of these or two of these, and maybe some of the other blocks keep it 3, or maybe you do 2, 2, 2. But you're allowed to search your banish zone and recover a styled attack to the discard pile. So it helps you reuse some of your more powerful cards. And Red Oversized Drill, again, we aren't really interacting with drills in the normal way, so you're wanting this drill to hit the discard pile, and then when it's in the discard pile, you may banish it to gain some stages, as well as then place whatever card you need on top of the discard pile so you can use it for mastery.
In our little final column here, again with the theme of the deck, generally ruthless decks that we core here, just trying to level. Red Escape is a really cool card. If you block an energy attack, you get to advance your main personality 1 level, and at the end of combat you go down 1. So this is a nice way to get into your upper levels, regain some stages, have higher AT value, more actions. And then Red Relaxation, not necessarily staple. It's a slower card, as in you have to put it on the board to activate it. But if you are kind of, not entering every hand, this card does allow you to kind of enter a combat. You have the critical damage effect to maybe clear away a Dragon Ball or an ally, and then get some stages back. Extra cards, never bad. Very similar in the same as like Red Stylish entrance for some extra advantage.
So now, if we're going with characters that you can play with this mastery, obviously, if the mastery is modifying physical attacks, you want MPs that are main personalities that also add extra damage to physical attacks. So, first character we recommend is from set 6, just Broly. He's all about punching face. He's all about causing your opponent to lose stages when you level up. So all of these are from the same set, and as well as you level up, you gain more stage damage to your attacks. And obviously you want to run more attacks because then you can use your powers to reveal those cards to do some cool effects, like banishing cards from the top of your opponent's discard pile or their deck, drawing extra cards, and even Broly level 4, which is crazy, where your opponent cannot use endurance the entire time. And if you do a physical attack, the damage is +4, +2 from the mastery, +6 all the time. And then that damage is also banished. So you're just hitting like a truck. And then Broly has some unique named cards that you would run in here. One of them being Eraser Cannon. Just board clear, raising anger. You don't run your own board, so therefore you're just wiping your opponent's board. And then Broly's Face Crusher, just revealing the top cards of your deck, grabbing extra styled cards, which keeps your momentum going, and then, of course, raising anger too if it hits.
The next MP that we recommend is going to be Majin Vegeta. He is I think his entire set is from the set 11 or 12 escalation, I believe. And with his kind of theme, very similar to Broly, he kind of beats, all these MPs really beat, but Majin Vegeta is a little bit more control. He has a lot more kind of the ability, mostly with his levels 2 and 3, to interact more with your opponent and kind of restrict them. His level 2, of course, stops a lot of decks that want to end combat and like skip or make people pass. His level 3 also has the ability to blow up a lot of board cards, and his 4, if you go there, is a big attack that can close out a game. Much like Broly, he has damage modifiers that increase as he goes up in his levels, and Vegeta's really kind of big appeal is going to be his Prideful Challenge card, which we've chosen as a staple. He, of course, can run all Vegeta name cards, but Prideful Challenge allows him to turn off all setups, drills, and allies for the combat, banish 3 cards from a discard pile, and draw a card replacing itself. So very, very good if you want to be able to beat a lot of board cards.
One of the other cool things to highlight about Majin Vegeta is that parenthetical on level 1 and its interaction with level 4, where you very much, in our level build, you're going to get to 4. You will want to use that attack to then go back to 1, banish your whole discard pile, then go back to 2, and you just can chain action, action, action. And so you can also run the newer Super Vegeta from the most recent set 16. Stage modifier on pretty much all his levels, just like Majin Vegeta, but you get a couple other options. Anger being immediate instead of built into hit effects. Um, and then as you level up, you can recur some of those cards from your discard pile. So shuffling in key cards, maybe revealing a new card that goes to the top of the discard pile because you blocked, gained anger, and then you can set that up for the mastery. With the hero version, you can run a unique card that came out in the most recent set of Vegeta's Fury, which again is another advance or lower. So really you can get up to 4 and then bounce back to 3, kind of using those cards. And same with Red Escape, going up a level and going down to recur cards in here. You could even run the physical block, which we did not include in the core because it would be very unique to this character to do so, of de-leveling down a level on a physical block and then going back up to still recur cards. Gallic Gun, you can run in both versions of Vegeta, just a heavy, beefy energy attack, which could help you get rid of Wallbreaker or help crit twice in one combat for maybe Dragon Balls or allies. And then Vegeta's Final Flash. Vegeta's Final Flash is a really fun card to run in this, but you do need to be careful because with that, you and your opponent can only attack or pass. So that means powers like level 3 and level 4, you turn off on yourself if you accidentally use it at the wrong time. Same with if you run it in Majin Vegeta, you could accidentally shut off your level 3 because level 3s is not in and of itself. Same with your mastery. If you use Final Flash, you need to make sure that you've masteried first. Otherwise, you will not be able to use the mastery because of the separate sentence that you need to reveal a card first, put it under the deck, then, then you would perform an attack if the thing is there. But because Final Flash requires that you have to attack or pass first, you want to be careful using this card. So you can run 3 of, maybe 2, or maybe 1. But it's also, if it hits, it's another way to de-level and create more opportunities for actions.
So yeah, these are 3 different kind of MPs. They all play similarly in the sense that they're just throwing out a lot of attacks, but each kind of has their own merit that they bring with it. And based on maybe who's maybe your favorite character out of the 3, I think all are a great option for anyone who's interested in playing Red Ruthless Mastery to pick up and begin with this core. But yeah,
Thanks
guys,
for watching.
Thanks as always. Look out, and there'll be probably more stuff for more of the masteries as we go forward in the beginner builds. And of course, if you're looking for any specific deck lists, go ahead and check out any of the deck list playlists, either Build Beauties or the DBZ deck lists on my channel. Thanks, guys.